second because I'm trying to make sure that I am live correctly or going correctly. Yes, I am in the mind group. Let's see. All right. So bear with me because I do have someone that's going to be coming in and helping me with questions and stuff. Okay. So I go live typically on Thursdays at 8 o'clock talking about just different subjects and topics all around and all within personal branding. My approach to personal branding is a little bit different. It's very personal. And I believe that you have to start with yourself, like you as a core. Hey, Michelle. So that's one thing, and that's like my whole approach. Okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about manifesting. I know in a lot of my other videos, I've mentioned it before, and I said I'll get around to it, but I never did. But tonight is a night, I did it right. Now, we're going to be talking about manifesting and what that means and what it's meant for me and how I've done it in my life and where I am because of it. Okay, so I do have some notes. So if I'm looking over here, it's because I need to get my notes and look through them. So bear with me. All right. So I do want to say this. If you see my other videos before, I'm very straightforward. I cut to the point. Get a little long-winded sometimes, but that's just me and that's my flavor. That's how I flow. But everything I do in love. That's why these are called Live with Love. So know that. Number 2, specifically with this one, because this is about manifesting, I had a little reservation, right? Because I don't want to, be in a position where I feel like, I'm telling anyone what to do or giving them something like advice and you do what I do. I want to say tonight that what I'm talking about is about me and what has worked for me. And it's also my belief in manifesting. So I would encourage you to do like my mom said, eat the meat and spit out the bones, meaning take what you need to take from it. Anything that doesn't resonate with you, it doesn't resonate with you, and that's cool. That's fine. Okay. As far as who I am hoping that is on this live, who has signed up for this event and will be on the next event with me, high vibrational, truly seeking personal development, and is at a place where they are very self-accountable for themselves, right? That's the mindset that I'm at, and that's who I'm trying to attract, and that's going to be the people that are going to most get something out of this, okay? That's who it's for. Also, I have been asked questions about my group, about Aligned, and, is this messaging or is my messaging specifically for like a certain demographic or Black women or whatever? I have all women in my group. I have all women that I work with. And no, it is not just for Black women. But I will say this. I speak from experience. And since I am a Black woman, a lot of things will be in context to things that I can express through my Blackness. So just know that. And then tonight I am going to be talking on some touchy things, right? I'm going to talk a little bit about religion. This may not be your forte. That's fine. But like I said, just roll with me until you can't roll anymore. I will be talking about religion, the universe, God, all of that, right? And I want to explain something right off the gate. I talk about both. When I say God, I was raised to call him God, but I also call him the Heavenly Father. All right. So just know that. And then also I believe in the universe, right? God is over that because he created the universe. So understand that context before we go forward. All right. Now, why am I qualified? Why do I feel I'm qualified to speak on manifesting? Because I completely own and operate in it. Like before I was even saying it to people, like I was saying to myself, I am the manifest queen. And that's not to like toot my horn or be any kind of way, but it was a realness that I was aware of. And I would just say over the past year and a half, it has really, the things that have manifested once I understood what it was for me have been unbelievable, right? I manifested a whole house when I was not in a position to really get the house, if that makes sense, right? And only like it was all the way down to I signed and got the keys on my 40th birthday. Like who does that? But anyway, all right. So I've done that. God, the jobs that I have, my business, and just the other day, I rode the train all night to pick up my car from Florida that I manifested. The exact car I said I wanted, the exact color that I wanted, and on top of that, it had more features in it than I could even desire, right? And like I said, this is not a braggy thing, right? Understand where we are here. It is really to show you what is possible if you allow yourself to step into that. Okay. And again, I'm going to be speaking a lot. I'm going to be speaking a lot in I statements, right? Because I'm not trying to step into life coaching. That's not what I do. And I'm not trying to, persuade you guys to do anything. Just understand I'm going to be speaking in a lot of I statements for what worked for me. All right. Another thing before I get started, I'm sorry. Another thing is I have a very keen awareness that I have favor with the Father. Okay. So I want you guys to understand that I'm aware of that, and we'll talk about that in a minute, that I know I have favor, right? So I don't want to be up here and come across like a person that has privilege and don't know they have privilege, right? Just do this and just do that, but they don't know, like, boo, you started a whole step ahead. So I will say this. I never walk around and say, I do this, I do that. I don't, do the whole, like when I was, independent woman, all that. I don't, because that really isn't my life. I had help all the way. I've had great parents that supported me. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I had to scramble my way to do anything. But I want to share with you my belief in how I got to be where I am. And I do understand that I do have favor, and you can and do as well. All right, we got that out of the way. Let's get in. Okay, so there were questions that were submitted, and I thank you guys for doing that. Hello. I thank you guys for doing that. I'm going to get to the questions at the end, because a lot of what I'm going to be talking about will be covered. The questions will be covered, right? All right. The biggest thing is, what is manifesting? If you are here, you've heard of it, right? It's a reason why you're here. You've aligned to it. You've manifested this, whether you believe so or whether you're aware or not. Manifesting, I first really heard about it in that form of like a context. I watched, it was a book and it was a movie that was on Netflix, and it was called The Secret. Did anyone else see that? It was phenomenal. It was really it was so funny because it was so basic as to what the concept was, but it was like life changing. And even going back before that, I realized that, in certain churches I had been in, when I heard about, you have the power of life and death, it's in your tongue or whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. I didn't realize that what that was is understanding that the power you have because you can manifest. All right. So to answer your question, what is that? Manifesting is making things be, bringing them it is what it is with confidence. That's how I see manifesting. All right. How do you do it? It's all about belief, right? Believing that something not necessarily is going to happen, but that it is. Right now, and just kind of flow with me here. So a lot of people say, manifesting, okay, you want something, you got to believe it, and then you'll have it. Cool. Yeah, that's but it's more to that. And I'm going to get into how I was able to kind of tap into that. And then they also would say, if I don't have it, then it's that I really didn't believe hard enough. Like a lot of people are telling people that, you got to believe it. You got to see it. You got to visualize it. You got to do this and you got to do that. And if it doesn't happen, you weren't believing hard enough, or whatever's happening to you is what you wanted anyway. Look, I don't know, maybe, but I'll say this. It is about a belief. But you also got to do some work too. You got to take some ownership, and you got to do work as well. You can't just like, oh, I'm going to believe it and it's going to happen, or I'm going to believe it and God's going to give it to me. And we'll get into that later. All right. So let me tell you what you truly need to manifest. All right. Number one, you hear this all the time now with coaches and just everything. It is a shift in your mindset. That is going to be the biggest hurdle because you can't see it, but you feel it, and it's your mind. And so you have to learn to have discipline in your thoughts in your mind. Like for real, it is that simple, but it's kind of difficult. Like you can start doing things, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you can be physically exhausted, but mentally exhaustion is like way bigger than that. So when I tell you, start working on your thought process, start working and being more conscious of where you constantly are, right? Now, one thing that was in that book and also in the movie that was on Netflix, The Secret, it is true. You have to start paying attention to where your mind is. And if you aren't aware, very true, start thinking about, just taking a moment and think about, like, how do I feel? You know what I'm saying? Like that's straight up. That was on point. Like, I feel good today, or I don't feel that good, or I'm like, however you feeling is kind of manifesting your thoughts where you are. So that will help you get in tune to starting to pay attention to how you're thinking and where you are. You guys follow me there? All right. So it's a mind shift. It's understanding also the natural laws of attraction. You got to understand that it's the old saying, it's the whole, what you put out is going to come back. It's the whole karma thing. That's what that is. It's the law of attraction. You are attracting things. Now, let's not worry about it, whether they're good or bad, but just understand that you have that power, that energy to attract stuff, right? So it's not just by happenstance that you're here. It's not just by chance that you saw this and was like, oh yeah, I'll attend. You attracted it, whether you believe so or not. It just is. So it's understanding the laws of attraction, understanding what alignment is. Aligning yourself means really understanding where you are and where you're supposed to be. Things that don't feel good to you, maybe that's not for you. You need to move yourself and put yourself in positions that align you to where you are supposed to be. Aligning takes some work because it's like, for the first time, you really got to stand up and go for what you want and stand up to people and do things that you didn't, for yourself. I'm going to tell you one thing about aligning. When you start to align, truly align, all hell will break loose. It will. It's not going to be pretty all the time. It's not going to be this beautiful ending of alignment. You got to work, because what's happening is, as you're starting to shift, the universe is shifting with you, and people who are not in alignment, or situations who are not really for you or aligned, they're going to be pissed. There's going to be arguments. There's going to be a whole lot of stuff. But you just got to know that there's a purpose into what you're doing. Okay. So mindset shift, understanding the natural laws of attraction. Okay. That's just like karma. Know that. Aligning and what that means and how important that is, aligning. When you align, you'll start paying attention to things. I have a Sherry. She always tells me, pay attention to the signs. Pay attention to the signs. When you start paying attention to things that are happening in your life, you're becoming aware and you are starting to align. It's an awareness of self. All right. Other thing that is really, really big. You have to understand how much power you truly have. Like, now this ain't like, just rubbing your back, trying to make you feel good. It's none of that. You have so much power that has been given to you, but you have to know that. You have to know it. Not just like, I can do anything. I ain't talking about any of those songs and, getting trophies, even if you were like second place. I'm talking about for real, you have to understand and know that you are powerful, whether you know how to use that power or not. Okay? So the first is a mind shift, and that honestly takes time, because once you start to make yourself aware of your thoughts and all of that, it'll be frustrating, right? It's like, dang, I think negative all the time. But don't worry about that, because we can switch that around, okay? After that, you need self-awareness. What have you been doing? How have you been talking? Who have you been hanging out with? How you've been operating in life? What have you been saying out your mouth? What have you been thinking with your thoughts? Become aware of yourself. Like, quit being on autopilot. Wake yourself up and actually be aware of how you go about your life. Like, just start paying attention. And that's what a lot of this is that a lot of times we just become foggy and we're not paying attention anymore, right? So start paying attention to things in life, right? Okay. How do you operate? And again, I'm looking at my notes. What is your belief system? Like, what do you really believe? Do you really believe that you are a person that deserves things, or do you not? If you don't believe that, like, I'm not, it's not, a lot of us were there. I was there. A lot of us are still there now. It's okay. The point here is to be aware of that, to kind of pick that out so we can kind of start dealing with that, right? Do you kind of feel like, yeah, things can happen, but just not for me, or they happen for everybody, but they're not happening for me, or you're getting things together and then boom, something happens and it's never just right. Whatever that story is that is being told to yourself and manifesting, you got to be aware of that so that we can change it, so that you can change it. Okay. Let's see. What and how do you really feel about yourself? And that goes into what you feel is going to be available for you. A lot of us don't even think about ourselves and what we need, right? And that's where that aligning comes in, is when you wake up and you're like, you know what? This does not serve me. I don't like doing that. Why do I keep on doing that? I don't even like this person no more. Why do I keep on answering the phone? It is understanding who you are and how you feel about yourself. Okay? How you feel about yourself. So this is all about like a self-auditing, right? And don't worry about that. Like, as you're doing this, if all this stuff is negative, right? Don't really worry about that, because the point is this: you are becoming aware. You can't change something that you're not aware of. So once you are aware, then you have a plethora of opportunity to change it. Do not get discouraged if things are not lining up like you like it, as far as like how you're seeing. And then also, what do you feel you really deserve? So this is all under self-awareness. What do you feel you really deserve? Do you know who you are? You know, if this is spiritual, do you know who you are in Christ, right? Do you know who you are, where you come from? Do you know what you stand for? Do you know that you know that you know, right? I had a situation come up the other day. I was sending out some marketing and I got this crazy, ugly email back, inbox. And normally I would have went in. I'm not gonna lie, I would have went in. But it was a calmness that came over me, because everything that was said in that was just, not only it wasn't a lie, it just, no, that's not me at all. Whatever. But it was a calmness that came to me because I know who I am. I know who my brand is. And it's going to take a lot for a person to come to me and tell me something that is not me, because I've become very aware of it. All right. Okay. So we talked about mind shift, self-awareness. The next thing you need to learn to do, this is really big, is take ownership. Take responsibility for all of your actions. Really take responsibility for your actions. Everything that has happened in your life, and this is that part that I don't like, but everything that's happened in your life, you've had some control in that. We'll just say that, right? You've been driving it in some way. So everything you have, realize that you had control in that, and you have control in it, and you got to take ownership. You cannot be a person, and you cannot still be stuck on, woe is me, and I would have had this and if I would have just done, if they would, like, if it's all about somebody else and that's what's driving you, you have to own it. You have to own where you are and own that anything you want, you have to do it. You do, not nobody else. Okay. Yeah. Where you are in life and how you got there. Okay, mindset shift, self-awareness, take ownership. Those are the main things, right? Now, I watched The Secret and I was really trying it, and it was working, but there's a lot more stuff to it. It really, really is. But again, it all starts with self. So I had some big aha moments for me that allowed me to start really moving and operating and manifesting. The biggest one is two. One was, it was a power of letting go of control. Now, specifically women, Black women, us who are in business, who are still in corporate, who are all these we got to do so much. We're going to school, we're going to work, we're trying to run a business, all of that. And especially Black women, and especially where we are right now in society and just how it is, we have been put into positions where we are absolutely operating in the masculine all the time operating in the masculine. Now, when I'm speaking about masculine and feminine tonight, I'm not talking about male and female. So roll with me here on that. It is the energy I'm talking about. Okay. So the biggest aha for me was the power of letting go of control. I am the type of person. That's why I do coaching. That's why I'm in like account management at work. I am always strategizing a solution. That's just how I've been. That's how I've been. So when a person is coming to me and maybe they're just talking and talking, my mind is like, okay, well, what's the solution? How can I provide a solution? That is also operating in the masculine. That is not letting go of control. That is me controlling it. And I'm going to tell you how to do that. Right? So that's one of the things you have to be aware of and be okay with letting go. And when I say that, when it comes to manifesting, is we are always like when you put something out or you desire something, 9 times out of 10, the next thing you start to do is try to figure out how to do it. When it comes to manifesting, you've got to let go. It's not really for you to figure out. Like that's the biggest thing. Like there's nothing that you really need to do. All right. So understand if you're operating like just in a masculine, like you're trying to figure things out. You got everything, you got control. Learn to be in the feminine and in that energy. By nature, we are made and built to receive. Like think about it all the way. We're made to receive. You have to be open to receive. If your thoughts are still like, yeah, I know, but it's not going to happen for me. Like you're completely closed to receiving. So then what was for you is going to bounce on to somebody else. You have to be open to receiving. Also, operating in the feminine means it doesn't have to make logical sense. Like quit trying to make sense of everything. Quit trying to come up with the solution or it's going to be this and then this is going to happen and that. Like stop, let go. Let go and become a receiver. You have to be open to receiving and that's how manifesting starts. Okay. One of the things that really helped me is like, the whole serenity prayer, right? God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. The whole thing about the whole serenity is about being calm and unbothered. You put something out there and just be unbothered. That is a really hard thing for us because we are always doers and we are always trying to figure it out. When it comes to manifesting, trust the power that is in you and what you've put out that it will be. I know this is a lot. It's easier said than done, but I'm telling you, once you work on your mindset and understand how this whole thing works, you are good. All right. So whether you understand the process of how it's going to happen or not, it's not for you to understand. Quit trying to control it. Let it be. All right. So with that, understanding the power, the calling, the favor, all of that is it. That's within you. So I like when I started out today, earlier, I was saying that, while I have been manifesting and doing all of this stuff, there's a lot of things that I am aware of. Like I'm very much aware that I have favor. I have favor. I know things come to me a whole lot easier than I see for other people. I know that. Now, I'm not saying I did something different than they did or that I'm more deserving than they are because that's not the case. But what's happening is I am aware that there are other things happening in the universe and the spiritual level that is helping me. And as you become aware of that and start paying attention to that, then you will start understanding the favor that you have. But if you are always blocking things, you can't receive it. No, I don't know, whatever. You don't can't even pay attention to the little positive, the small things that are happening. If you can't see that, then that favor will be taken from you and it will be given to someone else. So I'm telling you that. Get control of your mind, get control of your thoughts, and try to align and start recognizing the things that are happening for you. That is favor. That is talents or calling. We all have callings. We all can have favor, but you gotta do something with it. You have to recognize it and do something with it. Okay. So I hope that you guys are following me. That's just like the groundwork. Now let's start talking about the steps, like what you do, the steps. All right. So many times it's asking, visualizing, believing, and receiving. Okay. I mean, yeah. Okay. But let's break that down. Before you start asking, you need to recognize and acknowledge. Recognize and acknowledge what you have already been manifesting. How I started is I got to a point when I was looking back and reflecting. Like, this ain't like, I'm talking about over years. And I said to myself, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be honest, everything that I've ever really wanted and needed, I've gotten eventually. That's without me even being conscious and aware. Eventually, I've gotten it. So I encourage you guys to take a moment to just take inventory for where you are in life. The positive things that you have gotten. We're not going to focus on the negative anymore. We're going to focus on the positive. If you've been thinking negative, okay, cool. We're going to focus on the positive. What do you have right now in life that you've asked for? Be it in prayer, be it in thoughts and wants and desires. I don't care how small it is. I don't care if you wanted a Diet Coke and you got a Diet Coke. Whatever. If it has to be that small, fine. Because you got to start realizing just how simple this is. You can't keep walking around like a zombie and not seeing this, or you will continue to never manifest anything because you can't see it. So think about all the things that have happened to you or for you that you can sit back and be like, you know what? I did want to do that. And I ended up doing that. So you have to acknowledge and recognize that. Right? And then once you recognize it, recognize that was manifesting. It wasn't the blessing. I'll get to that. It wasn't a blessing. It wasn't one of those, I'm not even gonna say that because that'll be too much. It wasn't just a blessing. It was manifesting. Hear me on that. Acknowledge that is manifesting, and understanding that's the manifesting will build you up stronger to know, like, hey, wait a minute now. I said I wanted that and it came to be. I'm not taking away from God. So hear me on that. We'll get to that. All right. The next, after you recognize and recognize what's happened, and they acknowledge that that's manifesting, is the asking part. That's another big misconception. When you manifest, to manifest is to be. You're not asking. You are just stating. It's not a question. Can I? I would like to. Can I do? It's not a question. It is a fact and a statement. Now I'm just going to be let's just be materialistic in this, right? I wanted a certain car. I didn't say, I wonder if I can get that. The specific car I wanted was a Volvo XC90, white. I loved it. That was my jam. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I just said, I'm going to have that car. And when I said it, it ain't even about believing. You don't have to believe it. Bump your belief. It's about knowing that it's going to be. And, being free and thinking that you don't have to figure it out. Like, you don't have to. This is you putting it out there, not asking. This is you doing a statement. So again, misconception is about asking. Then again, this is for me. It's not a question. It is a statement. You also got to be aware of, like, what is it that you really want in your core? Like, what do you want? A lot of us say we want this and we want that, and we don't really even know what we want. So then we just start like, oh, okay, well, I want this and I want that. And it's like, God is in this, and he knows to your core that it's not even what you want. Sometimes you will manifest things that you weren't aware was subconsciously putting out there to be. So understand what you want, what your true desires are. And when you speak on those things, yes, speak as if they already are, but just speak it. And just speak it. Kind of like God, when he created the world. Like he wasn't like, I would like to have light. Like, how did like he didn't. He just let there be light. Now, I'm not saying we're God, but I'm saying that we're a part of him. And if he's in us, then we can do those things as well. I'm not saying we are him, so get off of that. But I'm wanting you to understand the power that you have in just a statement and not always asking. Okay? Let's see. Also, what you want can also be, it doesn't have to be physical. It could just be feeling. Like, what feeling do you want? You know what I'm saying? How do you want to feel in life? You don't have to know what is even going to get you there. A lot of times when we don't know what we want, sometimes you just think about, how do you want to feel? Right? Because we know how we want to feel, but then we start trying to fill in the blanks of how to get there. Don't bump all that. Don't worry about how to do it. Just start thinking about how you want to feel. Right? Okay. Let's see. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as like putting out to the universe, writing out an order, whatever you want. Like, I think the limitations that we have sometimes is we tell ourselves, no, I can't ask for that. That's crazy or whatever. And that's when you get into the masculine, and that's when you get into business that you're not supposed to be in. Put it out there what you want. No matter how crazy, no matter how small, no matter what, put it out there as it is, as a statement, not as a question, as a statement. And then this is another thing. So please hear me on that. Let me break this down. You have to really understand who you're giving this statement to. Who are you asking? Is it the universe or is it God? Now I'm going to say this. God, I wholeheartedly believe in God, right? I believe in his son. I've seen miracles and all of that. But God is up here. God is handling big miracle things, right? Like, it's enough him just giving you grace and mercy. Like, that's enough. When you manifest, you're not asking God to do that. You are recognizing and asking the universe to align things to bring those things to be. So you kind of have to separate that. It's no disrespect to him. It's just, he don't need to do the stuff that you can do. You need to understand the power that you have, and you can ask or tell the universe, this is what it is. And things will start to make room for you. That is a real big thing. A lot of people are getting this confused with, I'm asking God this. This is a very separate thing. This is just something you're doing. This is the power you have through him. And we'll get to that. All right. So the next is visualizing what is already is, right? So if you're putting something out there, okay, we're still talking about the car. All right, like for real. I wanted the car. I didn't even need a car. So I wanted in the market. So when opportunities get into another car, I'm like, no, that's not it, because it's gonna be this, and it's that color. So, but what I did do, and if you need to do it, I don't have to do it as much. To get you in that mode, close your eyes and start to visualize yourself in it, or visualize yourself with that feeling, or visualize yourself in whatever the scenario, visualize it. Doing that is going to raise your vibrations. Let it be positive. It's going to raise your vibrations, for one, right? And then on top of that, when you close your eyes and you start to I guess, meditate and see yourself, I'm talking about see yourself all the way, like not see yourself like as a movie, like, no, you're in the car. You have your hands on the steering wheel. What do your hands look like? What road are you on? What does it feel like inside? Like, you have to do that. This is the power of that. Like, I know it's easier said than done, but this is the power of that, which is very true. Your mind, I think, is the most powerful part of who you are. It is so powerful that it can tell your body to do things, and your body will respond because your mind told it to. And an example of that is, everybody's been asleep and everybody's been in a nightmare, right? And you're sweating and you may wake up crying, or, your heart is pounding and all of that. How is that possible if none of that really happened? It's possible because it was your mind. Your mind was so powerful as into making a scenario that your body physically reacted to it. So in a sense, your mind put something that it wasn't, but your mind said it was. And your body aligned and reacted to it. So when you start practicing with that and understanding, like, oh shoot, wait. So my body doesn't know the difference if I'm dreaming or not, which means you can say something and bring it to be with the universe not really knowing if it is or not. It's just going to align to be that, right? So I know that was kind of like a little out there, but just once you really hone in and understand the power that your mind has, that it can like bend things and create physicalities like sweating and heart pounding when you're laying safe in your bed. When you know that you can do that in a freaking dream, imagine if you're conscious what you can do in life. Like, you can. So with that and understanding that, like, okay, and I'll give you another example. Say you're back in a dream, right? And have you ever been in a dream and you started to realize you were in a dream, or either realize something wasn't quite right, and so you actually made something happen? Like maybe a dog was coming and you kind of made them go away, or you turned something into an eagle, whatever. But you were aware that you did it, and you did it with your mind. And everything else, your feelings, your emotions, everything aligned to make that so. So again, guys, if you can do that in your dreams and your body does not know the difference, then when you are conscious, imagine what you can do. Okay? I lost a point. Hold on. Okay, visual, raising your body. Okay. That's it. Around that, visualizing. That's what it's about. It is understanding the power of your mind and that you can bring things to be. All right. So the next between that is, so I'm going to just go back a little bit. So we've recognized and acknowledged. Okay. We visualized it. We recognize and acknowledge. We understand that we are not asking, but it is a statement, right, of what it is. And then we're visualizing what we said it is. Okay. The next is believing. And this is really hard for us. This is really, really hard for us. And this is also how we start intertwining things. Knowing it's possible, but believing. So I had a friend and she was kind of asking, like, I know that it can happen. I know that, God can do this, but I don't know that he will do it and will do it for me. And this is where the separation happens, and you got to separate this. We are talking, when you're asking God for something and you're praying to your Father, the Heavenly Father, God, right? I ain't talking about universe. I'm talking about God, the one who made the universe. You are asking and believing, and you have faith and you hope and all of that, right? That is what you're doing with God. When you manifest, that is completely separate. This is what you are telling the universe that he created is going to be. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have to separate that. This is not a God conversation. Manifesting is not prayer. It's not. So separate those. And then another thing is, I'm going to say this, and I hope I'm not stepping on your toes, but I'm speaking to myself. I still identify as Christian, right? Like I do. But I will say the one thing about Christianity that has sometimes hindered us a little bit is, and I say this because, again, speaking specifically to Black people, we were given Christianity from someone who was an enemy. So you have to understand, in that you have to eat the meat and spit out the bones. You got to really study and understand, because they can twist that to make things that has been done justified. Okay. So with that, understand, you have to always have an understanding there. But one thing about Christianity that I found was very hard for me to kind of step into my power is that Christianity, the way it is taught and presented to us, it always has us seeking outside ourselves. And when you're always seeking outside ourselves, you never understand the power that you have. So hear me on that. Every time you need something, when you go to church or anything, or just hear what I'm saying, we are always taught to pray and to ask God and to ask God and to ask God and to ask God. Yes, he is all magnificent. He can do everything. But you are now not recognizing the power that he has already given you. So imagine this. And this is how we are when we are going to God trying to manifest things. And that should be a manifest and not a prayer. It's like You're somewhere, and like my son, and he's calling me, mom, 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 can you come here? Come on, mom, mom. And I'm like, what? So I run upstairs because I know something's wrong. I run upstairs, and he's like, can you tie my shoe? And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. You stopped and got my attention to do something I've already shown you how to do. And it is my belief, y'all don't have to believe this or not, but it is my belief that this is how we operate with God. We're always wanting him to do things that are so minute. And he's doing miracles. He's giving you favor and grace and all of that. And he's also poured into you what to do it for yourself. So that's how you sound when you're always running outside yourself for him to do something that he's given you the power to do. So when I say back earlier, you have to take ownership. You have to own it yourself and own the power that has been given to you by him. Quit asking him to tie your shoe when you can do it. So manifesting is understanding how to tie your shoe and doing it, and not asking God to perform a miracle of tying your shoe. That's just what it is. If you didn't get that, and if this is offending you, I encourage you to roll that back and replay it. It'll come. So that is the difference. Separate what your relationship is and asking God from manifesting. He's giving you the power to do that. I'm not saying you can step outside and say, let there be light, let there be light. But I'm telling you, if that is who the Father is, and he is who he is, and you are under him, then you have the power to do the same thing. So quit running to God with little bitty stuff. Stop it. And see the power that you have in yourself. I get really, yeah. Okay. Faith and hope versus manifesting. This is not faith and this is not hope. Manifesting is what it is. Boom. You don't even have to believe it. It just is. Like, think about this. Everything that has happened with this whole coronavirus and where we are. How many times have you just said, I don't believe this? You ain't got to believe it. It is. That's manifesting. It is just that it is. Whether you believe it or not. Okay? I am a creator. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Told you that. Yeah. Oh, and so that's where that whole favor thing comes in. You keep running to God to do stuff that he's given you the power to do. He's already equipped you to do. Then he is going to take that power from you and give it to somebody else. Because you ain't using it anyway. You're not. So when Nicholas is asking me to tie his shoe, I'm like, you know what? Give me them shoes. Give them here. And put them slides on. Because you ain't using them anyway. That's what's happening. That's why it's looking like nothing is happening for you guys. That you're not manifesting. That nothing ever happens for you. That things like that's why. Own your stuff. Own your power. Walk in your power. That's manifesting. All right. Now, after you have recognized and acknowledged, after you realize that it's not a question, it's a statement. After you visualize it and your mind is telling your body this and your things are coming to be. And you're believing, knowing, right? You know that this is not a God conversation. Quit going to him and asking him to, quit wearing him with stuff that you can do. Then what do? How do you get to receiving? Well, before you receive, after you've done all those steps, the next thing you do is nothing. Absolutely, positively nothing. And what I say by that is you've already put out there what it is. All right. I'm just leaving an example. When God said, let there be light, he didn't go and okay, let me fix the sun and then put this. He didn't do none of that. He just did nothing but said it and it was. Do nothing. Get out the way. It is none of your business of how it's going to happen. It really is not. Let go and allow the universe to align and bring to fruition. The problem is we are always in the way. always. And you know, your parents or your aunt or whatever, like, go somewhere and sit down. Go sit down and quit trying to figure out how it's going to be, because we operate in the physical, right? And things that have to come together to deliver what you've said may be on a whole nother level spiritual, another vibration. And while you in there trying to figure it out, you messing stuff up. Like, all the way. Like, think about this. Like, so, okay, you want a cake. And you want your mom or your grandma or whoever to bake you a cake. All you have to do is say, "Ma, I want a strawberry cake," and go sit down. What the problem is, we say we want a strawberry cake. And then we start to go on in the kitchen and we get in between her and the bowl and the flour and what temperature is that oven going to be on? That's not going to be right, because and all of that, you get all in the way when you just need to get out the kitchen, go somewhere and sit down and just know that cake is coming and that it's going to be good. I feel like the universe does not like you in its business. You've already said what you wanted, okay? You've already told it what to do. The Father is giving you the universe. You've already told it what to do, so why are you in there messing around? You have to learn to let go, get out the way. As a matter of fact, forget it. Forget it. That's how at the earlier when I was like, yeah, you know how things happen, and then you look back, you're like, oh, that did happen. You know why? Because you got somewhere and sat down and you forgot about it, but it came to be. Now recognize that as manifesting and keep doing it, right? I'm telling you that's what it is. So go somewhere, sit down, get out of the universe's way, and allow it to happen. I don't think it wants to do things on a stage. It doesn't need you in its business. You've all been doing something and somebody want to come right here and figure out how you do. And it's like, you come on, move now. Or I'm going to move and just let you have this half manifested anything, right? So once you put it out there of what it is, go sit down and just allow it to be. All right. Yeah. Okay. Listen up. So also with that, so then after that, then comes the receiving. Then comes when all this stuff comes to fruition. And this is what's really, really important. You got to still be at a point and humble enough to recognize even the smallest things and acknowledge that. Be thankful and grateful and acknowledge that that is manifesting. Okay? You have to totally be in the feminine. Allow it to come. Receive it. Quit worrying about the packaging. Quit worrying about how it's going to happen. And well, this, just receive. Recognize. Be alert. Even if things don't make sense. A lot of times in the feminine, that energy, it doesn't make sense. It's a feeling. It's a hunch. It's a gut. Right? It's not the masculine and you know, this is a step and then this and then we have to do that. Like, that's not what it is. It's just, I'm going to just receive this. Do I know how this is going to happen? No, and I don't care. It's not really my business. My business was to say what is, and the universe business is to make it happen. Okay. And then be reassured. Now, so when you do all that, then you'll be aligned, right? And that's where your desires. This is the best part. So after that, then you are aligned. Then you are starting to be a manifest queen, right? Or a manifester, where you don't even have to start saying it. It just is. And things will start to align and attract you. Like, you'll just start to notice stuff is just, wow, I didn't even ask for that, but yeah, I'll take it because I did want that. Like, you won't even have to put effort. It just will start. The universe will be operating in alignment to you. Things will come your way. I'm just telling you. And that's when to other people, it will look like, well, how come she, it may look like favor. It may look like privilege, whatever. You are totally in alignment because you have recognized and took ownership of your power and recognize how to tie your shoe and use it. Do you guys follow me with that? So again, so you'll get to that point where you're aligned, and that's when desires start attracting to you. You won't have to request them. They will just really start attracting to you. I'm going to show you my journal in just a second. But at the beginning of no, this was like in November. This is November. I had never ever did a vision board. Not really. But I decided to do when I went, anyway, I did that. And then I had this journal and I just started putting things up there. People I wanted to meet, how I wanted my business to be, whatever, cars, whatever. I have manifested, I think it's like 8 things on there. I've already manifested 6 or 7, and it's just May 21st. And I did nothing but say, that's what's going to be. I don't need to explain to you how it's going to happen because I operate in the feminine. It just is. So you can feel it or you cannot. I'll show you the things. And it's not about bragging, but I want to show you like this stuff is real. Like that's how you operate in it. You just do it. You know what I'm saying? But you got to you got to recognize it. And so I'm going to I'll go into the questions. And I'll show you this right quick. Let me show you this really, really quick. This is my journal. Where's my journal? Personal? Nope. Sorry. Okay. I call this my book of manifestation, right? And, sometimes people are very sensitive about this, but I control this, right? You know what I'm saying? I know who I serve and I control this. So I'm okay with sharing this. All right. So let me see if y'all can see that. Can y'all see that? I know it looks really... All right. Dang it. Hopefully you can. But let me just go through it really quickly. This is one of the coaches I've always wanted to work with. Like when I say that I never thought I would, so I just follow along with her, right? But, and when she has her seminars, like they're in Dubai and Bali, and like she is a world traveler. So it's like, okay, well. But I put it up there because I was like, you know what? I'm going to meet this shit. I'm going to meet her. This was November. The person next to the 2 people here, I wanted the same understanding in my business as this lady had in hers. This person right here, I wanted the same impact, right? Hopefully you guys can see that, right? Know that. Now, this is a position that I wanted to be created if I stayed in corporate, okay? This is Lisa Nichols. Sherry, if you're still on here, do you remember you called me the Lisa Nichols of like image and personal branding? You don't even realize I already had her on my vision board. That's how stuff be like. And then this right here is my car that I just went and picked up. Right there. Now, let me tell you something. This car right here in the middle, right here, like is a range, or whatever. But that. So I knew I wanted something like that. And I knew like when I saw people in it, like, okay, it just gave me a feeling like, okay, that's just this caliber. And I put it up there. And I put it up there because I really didn't know what I wanted. Truth be told, I've always wanted to be back in a Volvo. He didn't give me this because it wasn't even in my core. It wasn't. I just was like, if somebody asked you something like, I want $1 million. Like, yeah, okay. Or I want to go to Disney World. Do you really? Really be responsible and understand and take this serious. What do you really want? And put that. So I didn't get that, but I got that. Now, I had saw it somewhere else. I had even went and tried to see if I could get a loan for it, and I couldn't get it. Real talk, could not get it. Normally, that would have just like, oh my God. That just would have just, but I said, And even Oris, my husband, was like, Crystal, hold up. When have you ever wanted something and you went after it and didn't get it? Like even he see it. And I was like, you're right. That one ain't for me. I like it. Like I don't want to pull out from this parking lot, but it's coming. The next week. No, it won't the next week. Hell, it was Friday. This past Friday. I got on a train at 12 o'clock midnight. Got there Friday morning and got the keys to the one I wanted. And it was more than I even knew my core wanted. I'm telling you. So, okay, so that's been manifested. This right here, this coach right here, I talk to her on a daily basis. Do you guys remember when I went to, and I was at the Ritz-Carlton in Miami? Yeah, I was chilling with her. I mean, like, it happened. happened. I work with all these coaches. I can take this car off because I really don't even want it. But this car is already done. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 things out of like 6 or 7. I think that's pretty good to have done nothing, to have not been able. And that's the truth. When I tried to figure out how to do it, that's when ish fell apart. I shouldn't even been at that dealership over there on Capitol trying to even. I shouldn't have been doing it because when it's for you, it's the door just gonna. I'm telling you, it's just gonna open for you. So that's what I have to say on that. And I'm gonna leave y'all with this, like, because this is like the most powerful and profound. And watch me not find this thing. Well, I gotta answer the questions. And I know I've been on here a while. It was from the Matrix, the very first Matrix. I don't know any other Matrix. That's all I know. But do you guys remember in the Matrix when Neo and Morpheus was talking, and he was like, "So this is Neo," and he was like, "So you're saying that I can dodge bullets?" And Morpheus was like, "No, Neo. I'm trying to tell you that when the time is right and you're ready, you won't have to. That is manifesting. You will not have to do all this extra stuff. It just will be. When you get to that point, it just will be." Okay? So that is what manifesting is to me. That is how I operate in that. It takes work. The biggest hurdle is going to be your mind. Okay? So I'm going to get to some questions. How do you operate in manifestation? It's an exercise. So like, I would say this for real. Like, seriously, guys, start with something really, really small. Something like really small. Put it out there that maybe by tomorrow or this weekend, that's something that you want. I don't care. A bottle of wine, a new pair of shoes. I mean, whatever. Something that's just, it's so kind of out there that if it came, you like, but something real small. Put that out there and start watching how things align and that start coming. So that's how you start to operate in it. You got to exercise it, and then you got to know how to recognize it. So that's how I operate in manifesting. That's how. All right, manifesting versus faith. How are they different and similar? So I talked on that. You got to say, you got to have your relationship with the Father. Like, no, come on, you do. Like, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is quit running to him for stuff that he's giving you the power to do. That's why it's not happening. Because he's like, yeah, no, I'm doing other stuff. I'm not about to tie your shoe. I'm giving you the power to do it. And if you want to know how to do it or maybe be reminded, do that. But I'm not going to do it for you. So that's different. Your relationship with the Father, that's all in faith, mercy and grace and serving. Manifesting is walking in that because you are his child. Okay. What is your daily manifesting routine? For example, do you meditate 5 by 55 method? Okay. So there are a lot of things out there that you can do. Like this 5 by 55, I don't know if you guys know what that means, or 3 by 33 is like where you start scripting and you write things over and over and over and over. Right? And you may do it like 33 times, 3 times. Believing, and really like, meditating on it and all of that. I've tried that. That doesn't work. For me, it doesn't work for me. I'm not saying it does not work. So I don't do that. What I do is constant work on my mind, and I get out the way. Now, if I'm called to do something like that, then I will. But I don't do that. You guys can go on YouTube. There's 1,000 things about manifesting, scripting, all of that. And it works for a lot of people. Candles and all. Crystals and all that. I told my friend Rakiba, because Rakiba's all into crystals. And I even had the waist beads. I had the waist beads crystals. And it was so cute and all of that. And I was realizing I kind of felt blocked. This is me. And I realized, shoot, I'm crystal. I'm my own crystal. I don't need no crystal. I don't need to hold nothing. And I'm that. So it's your own practice. Do you know what I'm saying? If you want to try that, try it. It didn't work for me. Okay. What helps you stay in high vibes? Oh, this is another thing. If you are finding out that you're constantly like in a negative space, or that you think a lot of negative things, like when you audit, you want to be conscious of that. It's going to be frustrating because you're like, oh my God, I'm thinking negative and then negative is going to happen. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because as soon as you turn that around, you can start to shift it that way. Okay. Know that even when you're negative, like, I'm powerful over that. And now let me think about something positive. So one thing